as practice theory. In theory, there is no difference between theory and practice. In practice, there is. This quote is by Johannes Lambertus Adriana van der Snapshot, who was a Dutch educator and computer scientist. And without further ado, I will now go into I just researched that because I was curious about the quote, like who would say something like that. So how was my day yesterday? I worked on my CodeDroid. So inside the new chat, I was teaching my bot a few things. And one of these things mainly was to open portals to the Collegian world. And that is something that I wanted to have for the onboarding process, so that the bot can actually lead you towards accepting or completing the task of onboarding yourself in the chat. So then later on, I was also fixing and adding a few things in the Collegian app. And after that, I did work on the code tactical together with Corinna, where I had a huge disconnect when it comes to how to interact with her and what I wanted, what I didn't want. And I absolutely refused to continue with the tactical, and instead went into the meta land and talked with her about how I want to have communication working. And that was something where we struggled a bit in the beginning, or big time actually. And then later on, we got to the point where actually we see our individual perspectives and we got better. To the point where then later on in the evening, we were both working on finding creative alternatives for the travel plans. And this is something that I really enjoyed because I had a huge tension with my impact and efficiency when it comes to the Collegian project, and I didn't know how to really embrace the idea of now starting to travel. And this is something that I wanted to take a look at, and we did together. And the result was very promising from my side. It's 3 clear creative alternative branches that I want to take a closer look at in order to increase my confidence and find new solutions that I'm actually happy with, given the latest development. And last but not least, I rounded up the whole thing with my evening routine, workout and church walk and all of these things. So that was my day yesterday. What am I going to focus on for today? 3 things, 2 of which are in my focus. One is continuing my work on the game plan. The second is and it's now really also implementing the game plan. The second is the island drawing, where I want to continue working on my drawing, which is something that now I did some sketches and I was uncertain where to position the individual things. Do I want to have like this kind of meandering trail up the island, or do I want to like hop around when it comes to breaking it into left and right creative hemisphere, like into creative different clusters? And there's pros and cons for me for both sides, and I wasn't sure what route to take. And that's why I did some sketches instead of starting with the drawing already. So it's just sketches, 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 and I'm really looking forward to breaking that barrier and going into actually having the drawing. And on the other hand, I also have quotes in mind, like if I have 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And this is what I'm doing by trying to think of where to position what, because otherwise I'll just start drawing and later on regret and redo the whole thing. So I think it's really a good idea to thoroughly think about this, or give it some time. And I've given it some time. I want to move on. So game plan, island drawing. And the third thing is I want to make progress when it comes to the actual app and the usage of the app. I want to take a look at how to bring individual tutorials to the individual pages. Maybe do a small detour with implementing some kind of tutorial. And I'm really meaning a clip tutorial, not just explaining stuff in video. But like for completeness sake, I think with minimal effort, where I can get the maximum result for me is really to have per page tutorial videos, and educate my dear users, legends, how to find support for every page that they're on. And if I show them once how to find support, then I hope that this will enable them to help themselves, guide themselves through the journey of Coalition. That is not the best experience, and yet that is better than waiting for the great experience. And that's what I'm focusing on for today. I wish you a legendary day. As always, if you have some feedback, I'd love to hear it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. I believe that the best is yet to come.